anticipating all night? Worse than New York opener? Well, I guess.
Probably not. Probably not. I don't think it was quite as windy. But I was just saying, I think it's maybe the worst game I've ever coached in, worst conditions I've ever coached in.
Talk about getting a result out of tonight.
Huge. Big time important to get the goal from Kyle and then to just battle, and it became just a little bit of a war of attrition there at the end for us. I'm glad that the clock ran out.
Did you think maybe after Ned just missed on that one chance he had that maybe that would be the one? And then you had Kyle come back after that?
I don't know. I guess I just don't feel like that anymore with this team. I don't ever feel like, oh, that was our one chance and we're going to be unlucky tonight. It's just, I think we've got past that a little bit. And so, kind of still had good feelings that those sorts of opportunities would still be there.
Coming to the stadium, when you see the weather, did you change something?
No.
In the first half, there was a lot more slipping on your guys' part. Were there complete changes?
I hope so. It's not something that I want to typically have to deal with, to tell people what kind of shoes they have to wear. So it was a little bit odd, I thought, in the first half. And then the second half, things obviously cleaned up.
What do you think of Nick's performance, especially?
Another huge performance by Nick to get the result, really. I mean, I think he won the 3 points for us between him and Beckerman.
Talk about the play of your two center backs too. I mean, especially Schuler coming in. I mean, seems like he's pretty solid.
It was really good again. I thought he had a little bit of a shaky first half, to be honest. And probably made one or two more errors than we've seen him make recently. I think it's hugely important that we recognize that he's not the finished product. He's still very young. That's his fourth meaningful professional game for us, and he's got a whole lot of more things he's got to do and do for us and succeed before we should start garnering too much praise on him.
Coming off a big win on Tuesday night with the Champions League, this game could have become an afterthought real easily. What did you tell the team? How did you help keep them focused on, especially looking out at this weather?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned with that, to be honest, because that was a pretty emotional win for us on Tuesday night, and you never want to get to the beginning of the season and kind of feel like, oh, well, we've already been through 3 important games, which the fact of the matter was that we had. But I do think that the guys have the right mentality in that we feel a bit hard done from 2010 to have such a good year and then to go out of things a lot earlier than we had expected to. I hope that the guys have the same type of chip on their shoulder that I do.
Last year you started season in winning 3-0 in San Jose. This year 1-0 in San Jose. Something that you want to comment on? You have their numbers or?
No, I don't think at all. I do think that the people that take care of this field should be really rewarded because it's fantastic. Just jogging around it before we play it, it's the type of field that makes me want to come out of retirement and play. And I think our guys like to play soccer, and to see a grass pitch like that kind of excites them. So I do think that our guys get up for games here.
Yeah, last quarter of the second half, the Earthquakes create chances. Can you comment on your defense?
It reminded me very much so of our game last year at Cruz Azul. Another game where it was raining tremendously and the wind was against us, and we're trying to withstand a lot of pressure and hold a lead. And typically we do that pretty well in our possession. We possess the ball and then we bring on some players to get in behind their backs. But today, just as it was at Cruz Azul, it's almost impossible to possess the ball like that on the field. And it was impossible to get the ball in behind their backs with the wind against us. So those two things meant that we were going to have to deal with a lot of attacks on them, a lot of crosses, a lot of shots. And tonight we ultimately obviously did a little bit better job than we did last year against Cruz Azul.
This year you have to start season in February. How do you think that will affect the rest of your MLS season?
We started obviously preseason this year about 3 weeks earlier than we did last year. And so it'll be a concern of ours as we get to the middle and to the late part of the season. I think that we're going to have to really consider more rotation. And we did a lot last year, and I think we're going to have to consider even more because of the length of the season.
Is that where giving a game to a guy like Schuler is kind of, I mean, obviously you don't want to be without a lobby, but it's kind of a blessing because you kind of spread the wealth a little bit?
Absolutely. And there's going to have to be difficult decisions made over the whole course of the season. You see tonight, I mean, we brought in Grabavoy and Beltran. and that's just the exact same situation. It has nothing to do with the guys that they replace, because Andy Williams right now is in fantastic form. It's just about rotating the players.
You have a pretty stable squad. Can you comment on your off-season acquisitions?
Off-season acquisitions, we picked up Arturo Alvarez. Other than that, we made no changes to the team, and so for us, off-season was all about being stable and keeping the group together. And then, obviously, to add a player like Arturo, we think he's special, and we think he's going to contribite to this team in big ways this year.
Listen, how you see Arturo contribute to the team? You mentioned rotation just a moment ago. Do you think that he will be perfect fit for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a versatile player that can play in a few spots for us. He's still learning his way a little bit about what would be expected of him if we were to play him in the midfield, because obviously you've got a little bit more responsibility to the group. So right now we're kind of looking at him as a forward and giving him a pretty free role.